The Infiniti G basically made the brand, a sporty sedan and coupe duo that struck a very loud chord with buyers from '01 to 2013.
And here's what's next. Let's drive the all-new, all-tech Q50 in its hybrid S-Sport form. Now, it's easy to spot one of these guys.
There's another daring leap for Infiniti.
And if you've seen their Eau Rouge show car on the circuit lately, kind of faithful to that overall look. And it lacks some of the pudginess that a few of its more recent siblings have. Now, what makes this an S? First of all, you've got bigger disc rotors all around and bigger calipers clamping on them. Bigger wheels, 19s instead of 17s. A little different face, makes it about an inch longer than a non-S car. And inside, you've got sports seats and magnesium shifter paddles. In front of you, kind of a standard gauge layout, tack, speedo, fuel. Only giveaway that you're in a hybrid is that little swing gauge down there that tells you if you're recharging on the left or tapping electric power on the right. Star of the show is right here in the center console. Not one, but two screens. Both are touch. Both are also driven by an Infiniti controller knob down here, and both are also accessible by voice. The one down here is the really impressive one. It's very iPad-like, and not by accident. Just for destination alone, look how many choices you've got. There are 8 ways to get where you're going. We're not done yet. Scroll over and you've got another 5. Do I really need 13 ways to find my destination? We've seen a lot of these various things before in the apps panel, but not this before, the app garage. This is kind of a little miniature app store for this vehicle. Clock and compass, you don't really care about those. Drive performance is interesting. This is going to bring up a set of driving gauges on 3 different panels. It'll show you things anywhere from economy to dynamics. It's kind of a weird hodgepodge, but I must say it does remind me of what happens in the Nissan GT-R, where you've got addressable gauges, a virtual instrument panel to accompany the one in front of you. On the sillier side, of course, you can pull up Facebook. More useful, you have Google Online Search in here. All of this is through your tethered phone, by the way. This is not one of those cars that has built-in 3G or 4G. Now, Infiniti Connection is a series of online services that are tied in through your phone with an app called the Infiniti InTouch app. It gets you things like pulling in a schedule, connected search, so you can search and then nav to something, send to car from a Google search on another machine, a computer, what have you. The last thing I want to show you in this interface is the Infiniti Drive Mode Selector, similar to what Audi's had in their Drive Mode Select for a while. So my personal mode can have engine and transmission settings of any of these 4. I can set up my steering for heavy, standard, or light, quick, standard, or casual response, an active trace control where it uses braking inside the curve to yaw the car around a corner. And all that ties back to a drive mode rocker switch here on the console, which runs you through 3 modes. You've got sport, and then you can take it down to standard and also down to eco. Now under audio, just about everything you want is in here. AM and FM with HD, Sirius XM. Still have a disc player in here. They haven't jumped on the trend of unloading that. iPod connectivity as well. Nice, clean, well-used interface, I think. And of course, Bluetooth streaming audio. Now above this beautiful InTouch controller is some very impressive turd polishing that's been going on. This is kind of your standard Nissan navigation map interface, but notice they've cleaned it up. It's got much tighter dot resolution. They have finessed the look, but it still is jarringly out of place to my eye compared to the instrument panel and the InTouch controller. This is beautiful modern stuff. This is last decade, kind of yanked into the present. Like we've seen in some Honda products lately, you get an awful lot of duplication. Do it here with one interface, look at that, or you can do it down here with another interface, and they aren't identical. That's not great UI. That's one of the kinds of distraction that car makers often forget about. Now under the hood, we've got a 3.5-liter Nissan V6, but of course it's hooked up to an electric motor as well that in this car is not about a lean green weenie hybrid. This is about a performance hybrid. Horsepower is 328 off the gas engine plus 67 off the electric motor. It nets out though to 360. Torque is 269 foot-pounds off the engine, 214 off the electric motor, but you can't exactly sum those. Let's just say it's a lot. 4.9 seconds 0 to 60 for rear-wheel drive, 5.2 if you get all-wheel drive. And that's for a car that weighs almost exactly 2 tons. It's not the lightest car out there. 2834 mpg for this rear-wheel drive configuration. So notice, we're not reaching for astronomical fuel efficiency. I mean, we drove a Accord plug-in recently that was kind of doing near 50 all the time, but that was aimed at a different kind of driving. The only transmission you can get is a 7-speed, conventional sort of automatic. The base car, if you will, is rear-wheel drive, or you can also option it to all-wheel drive. We recently did a segment on CNET on cars about electric power steering, but Infiniti's doing something in this Q50 that's kind of unprecedented. Look what's happening here. With their direct adaptive steering, the wheel becomes kind of a game controller, telling these electronic control units here what they should tell the electric steering rack to do. This is steer-by-wire, folks. The benefit of this is you get lightning-fast response from your steering inputs from the wheel, and those front wheels can steer at slightly different angles, which is actually a good thing. They can have their own little independent take on what you're telling them to do with your steering input. Can lead to some amazing handling improvements. Now, if you're spooked by the fact this is all done electronically, notice that here in the steering column, there's a clutch. And if this electronic system fails, that clutch re-engages, and now you have a traditional mechanical steering column back in place, so you're back in control of the car. Now, we see a lot of cars these days that have lane departure warning and prevention, fairly common stuff, but on this menu in the Infiniti, it's right next to lane departure, but it's different. Active lane control is like a subtle cousin of lane departure. Instead of yanking you back from drifting into the wrong lane, it just keeps you right in your lane, nicely centered. It uses cameras to see if the lanes are bending slightly. It can detect and correct for wind drift, or even if the chatter in the bad road surface makes the car drift off of line. It's super elegant, and it basically does what you do as you're driving down the road. What an amazing steering system! This electric steer-by-wire is uncannily sharp and precise. Add to that this active trace control where it'll drag the inside brake to kind of yaw you in, and it's just an amazingly nimble, big-ish car. Now on the freeway, that lane control technology is also like magic. It's the first I've driven that is able to basically exhibit almost human-like instincts for noodling down the lane. It's so subtle. That's where the magic lies. A lot of great power in this vehicle, but you do have to coax it, I find. When I first hit the throttle, almost a second before I get that boost of power, that's not good. One last note, there is a look-forward collision technology in this car that goes a step further. It's not just predicting collision with the car in front of you. It can, they say, predict and prevent a collision based on the behavior of the car in front of the car in front of you. The downside is I don't have any way to test or demonstrate it without sending this car back to Infiniti on a flatbed truck, so we'll have to take their word for it, but I believe that's also a first. Okay, you can get into a new Q50 for as little as $37,000, but not this Q50. We've got a hybrid and we've got an S, so we're talking nearly $48,000 base delivered. Here's the weird one, almost $1,500 more for navigation. That's right, this car does not come standard with nav or satellite radio. That nav package is how you get both. I'm kind of irked by that. Now the big one is the deluxe technology package, $5,000, but I think it's worth it because that's a huge package of almost all of this driver assistance and handling assistance tech that we were so impressed by. So while it's chunky, I don't think it's a ripoff. All in, we're at about 54.2 delivered CNET style. That's rear-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is going to add $1,800. What Infiniti's done here is push the envelope in 2 or 3 important areas of driving technology. They've wrapped it up in a really good-looking package, and they've decided to take hybrid the performance direction, not so much the efficiency direction. I want to see them simplify and refine that Infiniti InTouch interface, too much going on there, and also bring it better in harmony with the main screen. I also think they should improve throttle response, because there's too much goodness under the hood of this car to let bad pedal linearity ruin it.